Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Here I will explain about online student attitudes toward collaborative learning and sense of community. For the first, this is a test of the material speaking. Yeah, it's a test of the material speaking. And then let's go. Let's find out. This is online student attitudes toward collaborative learning and sense of community by Ritusri Chatterjee and Anna Paula Korea. Okay. Abstract feeling of community increase information flow, cooperation, support, and a sense of commitment toward groups' goals. Many studies have explored the significance of sense of community and collaborative learning activities in online learning environments. Using a correlational study, the relationship between students' sense of community and their attitude toward online collaborative learning was examined in this study. Results indicate that collaboration and sense of community were moderately correlated. A positive correlation between collaboration and student sense of community was determined. It was also noticed that the degree of correlation between sense of community and collaborative learning was higher among graduate students than among undergraduate students. Furthermore, a higher degree of correlation existed between a positive attitude toward collaborative learning and the dimension of sense of community when compared to the correlation between a negative attitude toward collaborative learning and sense of community. Okay, next we go to purpose and significance of study. There have been many studies regarding the significance of sense of community in online learning environments. Additionally, there has been research that explored the impact of collaborative learning activities in online learning environment. There are Bento and Schuster, 2003, Brindley, Blesky, and Walty, 2009, and Zhu, 2012. However, little has been studied on the relationship between student sense of community and their attitude toward online collaborative learning. This study aims to fill that gap in the literature by establishing the relationship between the two constructs, sense of community and attitude toward collaborative learning. The presence of such a relationship is expected to shed light on how the interplay of collaborative learning and sense of community influence the online learning experience, especially learner satisfaction and outcome. This study lays a foundation for future research work in this area and inform educator and instructional designer about better online course designed to enhance student learning and satisfaction. The main purpose of this research study was to determine what, if any, relationship exists between student attitude toward collaborative learning and a sense of community among online learners in higher education. This study was conducted in a large Midwestern research university. The following research question guide the study. For the first, is there a correlation between student attitude toward collaborative learning and sense of community in online learning environments? For the second, what is the nature of the correlation that exists between student attitude toward collaborative learning and a sense of community in asynchronous online learning environment? Next, we go to next to collaborative learning. Collaborative learning can be viewed as an umbrella approach to teaching and learning that encompasses the essence of collaborative learning. There are Lau and Lau, 2012. Lau and Lau explained that collaborative learning proposes a way of dealing with people that emphasize individual abilities and contribution. Collaboration is considered a way of life where individuals are responsible for their actions, including learning and respecting the abilities and contribution of their peers. Okay. In online learning environment, mediated are employed by instructor to facilitate collaboration among peers. Educational resources have taken various approaches to assessing and measuring collaborative learning in online learning environments. For example, Kreisins, Krishner, Dosen, and Van Buren 2007 explore the sociability of a computer-supported collaborative learning environment. Researchers study the ability of this environment to provide a sound social space for collaboration. The study construction the study constructed and validated a one-dimensional 10-item sociability scale and measures the sociability of computer-supported collaborative environments. Okay? We go sense of community. A sense of community is an indicator of success of online communities in which people interact face to face, as it has been defined by several studies. Example, there are Baker and Moyer 2018, Cameron, Morgan, Williams, and Kostelecki in 2009, and last Dosen in 2006 investigated the relationship between student communication interaction and sense of community. Results showed that college students and study units with greater frequencies of communication interaction possess stronger level of sense of community. 2006. Okay, we go to methodology. This study followed a quantitative approach aimed at investigating the correlation between the two considered variables, sense of community and collaborative learning, by making use of a person, product, moment correlational confusion. This research was carried out in 3 stages. Stage 1, the mini pilot, intended to test the research mechanics. Stage 2, the pilot that aimed at validating the data collection instrument. Stage 3, the mind study that investigated the existence of a correlation between the variables studied. Okay, that is 3-stage this research methodology. Procedural modifications were made at each stage based on the lesson learning in the previous stage. Okay, we go context to the study. The study was conducted in a large Midwestern research university in the United States. The university had 6 different colleges, each with its respective online programs. However, not every program in every school had a fully online equivalent degree path. The online program included courses that were offered in both fully online and blended formats. The fully online courses are typically 1 semester long and have the same academic rigor and quality as face-to-face courses offered in residential programs. Okay. It is assumed that students who participate in the study were representative of U.S. college students taking online classes. Blackboard Learn and Moodle were the learning management system used in these programs. Okay, now we go to data collection and analysis. To previously establish valid and reliable questionnaire instrument, namely the sense of virtual community scale. Falter, Zaglia, and Mueller, 2012. And the Online Cooperative Learning Application Scale, COOPMAS, 2012, were combined to form one single questionnaire for this study. Okay. The combined questionnaire, named the Online Sense of Community Collaborative Learning Combined Questionnaire, consisted mostly of 26 close-ended questions on a 5-point Likert scale regarding attitude toward collaboration, learning, and sense of community. The survey questions were divided into three sections: demographic, online collaborative learning, and sense of community. There are demographics, online collaborative learning, and sense of community. There are three types: demographics, online collaborative learning, and then sense of community. For the first, demographic, although demographic is not the primary focus of this study, there were some multiple choice questions on the participant academic standing, level of collaboration in their respective courses, learning management system use, and their course name and number. For the second, online collaborative learning, there were a total of 16 items that were adapted from the Online Cooperative Learning Application, or OCLA scale. The question related to feeling of positive attitude toward using of online cooperative tool were followed by questions of feeling of negative attitude toward using of online cooperative tools. For the last one, number 3, sense of community. A total of 11 questions were adapted from the Sense of Virtual Community, or SOVC, scale that fell under the 4 dimensions of community, Savis, Lee, and Acosta in 2008, namely membership, influence, integration, and fulfillment of needs and shared emotional connection. Okay, next, result of this study. For the pilot study, the current batch reliability coefficient is reported. For the mind study, demographic data, descriptive statistics, and the person correlation coefficient are also reported along with the reliability coefficient. Okay, now we go to correlational analysis. A person product moment correlational coefficient was computed to assess the existence, nature, and strength of relationship, if any, between collaborative learning and sense of community in an online learning environment. The total score for sense of community and for collaborative learning was computed for each respondent. Using these total scores, the person product moment correlational coefficient was computed to be R198, same 0.672, P, and then 0.01 point. This implied that the score for collaborative learning and sense of community were correlated, and the strength of the correlation was moderate. Furthermore, the correlational coefficient R was positive. This meant that the direction of the association was positive and direct, implying that an increase in the score of collaborative learning would mean an increase in the score of sense of community as well. The dataset was further divided based on the academic classification of undergraduates. The dataset was further divided based on the academic classification of undergraduates and graduate students. This division was purely speculative and made on the basis of the extensive experience as an online courses designer. Although maturity of student does play a role in online learning, the bifurcation of graduates and undergraduates is an aspect that has not been studied extensively. Okay. Okay, we go next to discussion and conclusion. This correlational study aimed at investigation interaction between studies. This correlational study aimed at investigating interaction between student, attitude toward collaborative learning, and sense of community in online learning environments. Both construct collaborative learning play a crucial role in establishing and supporting online interaction. For discussion of result. The result of the study are discussed around the three major findings. 1. Student attitude toward collaborative learning and sense of community are correlated. 2. A positive attitude toward collaborative learning has a higher degree of correlation with sense of community than a negative attitude does. And number 3, graduate students have a higher degree of correlation than undergraduates do between their attitude toward collaborative learning and sense of community. Correlation studies are aimed to clarify the relationship and pattern of relationship among the variables under study. This study does not intend to make any causation claims, meaning that one event is responsible for the change of the other event. The following paragraphs elaborate on the findings of the study and relate them with existing studies. Yeah. Student attitude toward collaborative learning and sense of community are significantly correlated. The correlational data analysis of the mind study indicate a statistically significant Pearson product moment coefficient of R198 0.672, P 0.01 point. This implied that a moderate positive correlation existed between student attitude toward collaborative learning and student sense of community while taking online courses. The direction of the correlational coefficient was positive, which means that student attitude toward collaborative learning and student sense of community are positively associated. This may imply that when sense of community would increase, that is, student feeling of connectedness with other learners in an online learning environment where they are primarily interacting via online collaborative tools. The student attitude toward collaborative learning would also increase. The result is corroborated in a research study conducted by Swan 2002, who examined interaction in online courses and explored the relationship between course design factor and student perception in 73 online courses. The findings showed that student satisfaction, perceived learning, perceived interaction with the instructor, and perceived interaction with peers were all highly interrelated. Specifically concentrating on their finding on peer-peer interaction. It can be said that students with higher level of interaction were associated with having higher level of satisfaction as well. Okay. We go now to last one, conclusion. Results showed that collaboration of sense of community were moderately correlated. As the positive of student attitudes toward collaborative learning increased, their sense of community increased proportionally. Additionally, the degree of correlation between sense of community and collaborative learning was higher among graduate students than among undergraduate students. This correlational study gave an educated insight into the interplay of collaborative learning and sense of community in online learning. The variability in the correlation, according to academic classification, is a novel finding of this study and can be further investigated to discover more about the variance in sense of community and collaborative learnings. Okay, I think maybe just this for me. Thank you very much for your watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and share. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.